Oh, I think OBS went through an update and just automatically changed some stuff around. Okay, my bad, guys. My bad. Oh, I have to start over. So, thank you for tuning in to the Final Dash podcast. Here we are. Like I said, So the Switch outsells the NES is a very quick, easy topic to get out the way. This just happened here, I'd say within the past week or so. And we can see here, Switch has sold 61 million units, which is the same as the Nintendo Entertainment System. However, updated sales figures reveal that it has now sailed past the retro system, as Switch sales are at 62 million units, and there's still some regions missing from these sales numbers. So this goes to show how phenomenal of a concept that the Switch is, how this has a very wide appeal to it, and people are still buying it, and especially now with quarantine going on, Switch has been doing great. It's been doing phenomenal, and I think some of these numbers are a little boosted, obviously because of quarantine, because there is a PS5 and Xbox Series X on the horizon. People might be gravitating towards the Switch because they know that there's not going to be another Switch in the near future. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a lot of factors playing into why the Switch sales are so good. But I do think that the concept of the system and the system itself does deserve the sales numbers. There are a lot of things I would like to see fixed, a lot of things I would like to see implemented into the Switch as far as like the software, the OS, all that. I've made several videos about it on my channel, but yeah, this is doing good. Nintendo's doing good, and like I said, right now it's just kind of like more or less there's no competition for Nintendo, but like especially at this point in time, until the PS5 and Xbox One drop, the Switch is going to dominate like it has been, and it's going to continue dominating. So, not very surprising. Let's see, another little tidbit here we can get out the way. Shin Megami Tensei 3. So this was announced in the Nintendo Direct Mini that also showed that, hey, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is not in development now. We're still working on it. That was great. I appreciated that. So Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster Maniacs Pack DLC trailer. I don't think I'm going to click the video and play the trailer for you, but that meme is alive, my friend, featuring Dante from Devil May Cry. I can't wait to see that meme be used all over again. But no, this is cool. This is great. And this game is coming to the Switch and the PS4. I don't remember if it's coming to Xbox. I genuinely don't remember. Huh. But yeah, no, this is cool. This is great. I'll be scooping this up for sure. And here we go. Some of the meaty news right here. Retro Studios looking for a lead producer for Metroid Prime 4. How long ago was this announced? It's been, I want to say it's been at least 2 years. Maybe more, maybe less. I doubt it. I definitely think it's been at least 2 years at this point, though. There was this tweet from Retro Studios, which I saw on Twitter like literally within minutes after it went up, and I died a little on the inside. We are looking for a lead producer to join us on our journey to develop Metroid Prime 4. And this is not fake. It just went up yesterday. Yeah, if I click on this, yep, here it is. The tweet, Retro Studios, a check mark. Here you go. You can see the 41,000 followers. So it's real. It is real. It says a lead producer. Oh, I mean, how many lead producers? No. You only have one lead producer for a game, right? Yeah, I know, Philly, right? Gosh, this is ridiculous. You hate to see it. It makes me very sad. So they showed the JPEG of the game a couple years ago of the logo Metroid Prime 4. That's all we've got for the past couple years. This is not putting any faith into the community, thinking that's going to be released anytime soon. So this, we're not going to see until, I'd say at the very, very earliest, 2022. Probably 2023. And at that point in 2023, it might be too late. In 2023, I definitely would expect a new Switch or Nintendo's next console, because then it'll be 6 years after the release of the system, and I just don't see the Switch even having a 6-year lifespan. Unfortunately, I think the Switch is going to have about a 5-year lifespan before Nintendo's next console comes out. Don't quote me on this, but I am pretty certain that the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, they're obviously going to be next gen. They're going to up the level with, what's capable as far as the games visually, obviously with the graphics and everything, but also just how smooth the games work. Going to the PlayStation 5 reveal, you can watch the Ratchet and Clank, how he's falling through portals and the worlds are loading instantly with no lag, with no stuttering or anything, and it's just happening back to back to back. And if that is the kind of that's the kind of next gen stuff I want to see more of, and if that's more of the norm in the next gen, the Switch is just not going to be able to keep up. Graphics aside, I feel like if developers really want to, they can dumb down graphics enough to get it on the Switch, as we've seen with Doom, as we've seen with The Witcher 3. But if the games are just not capable of running at all, like as smoothly as the other systems or anything, like, yeah, this is going to be a problem. Went off on a little tangent there, but this game is going to either come out at the very end of the Switch's life cycle or maybe even after Nintendo's next system. This might be a dual release for Nintendo's next system. Oh, clicked on that shit again. My bad. So, not looking good. Not looking good. Here we go. This is funny. I found this pretty funny. Nintendo is just masterful at what they do, says Xbox Phil Spencer. So this is not the first time Phil's come out and praised Nintendo. He does it every so often. He doesn't do it all the time, but he does it a little more often than you would expect the head of Xbox to. Yeah. So, blah, blah, Phil Spencer, Vice President of Gaming at Microsoft, praised Nintendo while on a live talk show recently. So, for those of you that don't know, he was on a talk show, online talk show called Animal Talking. I'm mad I didn't think of this first. Definitely check out Animal Talking if you haven't already. So, it's a talk show that takes place within Animal Crossing. Whoever the host is at the show, he set up his upstairs room in his house and basically set it up like a studio, and then he invites the guests over to his island. They show up, they sit down on the couch, and it's just like a talk show, but with the Animal Crossing on screen. It's entertaining. I mean, it's just like a regular talk show, more or less, but with the way things are in quarantine, that was obviously the perfect game to release at the perfect time, and this dude jumped on that opportunity and was creative with it. I'm mad. He really wants Game Pass on the Switch? Bro, I want Game Pass on the Switch. I mean, screw it. If Microsoft doesn't believe in having exclusives, yeah, go for it. Put Game Pass on Switch, please, by all means. Anyways, so moving on to some of the stuff here. Part of the quote, little cut off, but the pure thing about what Nintendo does is they think about games and they think about their hardware and their platform all as one thing and build those experiences. And I know the teams there pretty well, and I think it's magical the way they're able to create a complete Nintendo experience on their devices. And this experience I'm looking at right here in my hands on my Switch is Animal Crossing. From the Switch running it to the game itself to the way you go to other people's islands. In the entertainment business, most things don't turn out to be a huge success, so there always has to be some amount of surprise, but Nintendo is just masterful at what they do, and I've said it before, I think they have the strongest first-party pedigree out there, and strength, and they're a jewel for us in the games industry, and something we should protect. Okay, so, yeah, kind of rides Nintendo's jock there for a little bit, but it's not like he's wrong. Everything he's saying there is accurate. As weird as Nintendo hardware gets, as weird as it's been in the past sometimes, Nintendo has always developed around it. Because I think the Wii was made, specifically for Miyamoto, more or less. He had things he wanted to do, and basically they can only be done if there was motion controls. So then they're like, okay, we're building a system with motion controls. And then, of course, Miyamoto has his games, and they're all wonderful. The Galaxies, Skyward Sword, and those games actually use motion controls to a decent degree. Whatever. And then everyone else is kind of flailing around. So, hit or miss, Nintendo definitely sticks to their guns when it comes to coming up with weird hardware and then building games around it. So he's definitely not wrong there. And as far as having the strongest first-party pedigree out there, I personally agree with that. I can see how people would debate it with, what Sony has been doing lately with their first-party lineup. Although Nintendo by far has the biggest first-party lineup, as in quantity-wise, Nintendo's got it. And I think there's a lot more diversity within the Nintendo lineup, but I could definitely see how someone would argue they think Sony's first party games are stronger and they prefer those. I could understand the argument. Wouldn't agree with it, but I could see where you're coming from. So yeah, it's funny he says all these wonderful things about Nintendo, about their games, and Microsoft has none of that. It doesn't do anything like this. They don't have a wide first party lineup. They don't have. I don't think they build their games around their systems. They definitely don't. After we saw that Xbox reveal, or the Xbox Series X, after we saw the Halo Infinite reveal, you cannot tell me they're building that game specifically around Xbox Series X. No. I do realize it's releasing on the Xbox One as well, but for the game to look like that... Ugh, hold on. Sorry. Let me close the window. Yeah. No. Man, Phil, I wish you and the guys at Microsoft would take some notes from Nintendo. Not all of them. Some of Nintendo's notes are pretty damn bad. But when it comes to having a strong first-party lineup that makes me want to buy your system, that is what you need to do. And going off on a little bit of a tangent here, this is the reason why Xbox, no matter how good an Xbox presentation is, it's an automatic fail in my eyes, automatic loss in my eyes. There's some people out there that truly, honestly believe that the Xbox Games Showcase was better than the, I think it was the State of Play, PlayStation State of Play when they revealed the PS5. And I could understand that you think the games in the Xbox Live, or the Xbox Games Showcase, looked better to you. You thought those games were more interesting or whatever. But here's where PlayStation gets me, right? I watch the PS5 reveal. I see all the games announced and everything. Not all of them are winners. Definitely not, in my opinion. but there's about 3 or 4 games in the PlayStation 5 reveal that I can look at and be like, damn, I have to get a PlayStation. You're telling me like this is what the PS5 is capable of? I can only play this game on a PlayStation 5? Damn, I gotta get on it. When I watch the Xbox Games Showcase, there is literally not a single game within that showcase that makes me want to go out and buy an Xbox. Not a single one. Because all those games are available on PC. All of those games, or some of them are coming out to PS4 and Switch as well. So, sorry guys, until Xbox changes their ways, there's literally no way I can even entertain the idea of buying an Xbox Series X or Series S. Or, yeah, I just can't do it. I would rather build another PC and just play all the games that way, especially with Game Pass. So I don't see myself buying an Xbox, and I don't think a lot of people should. Xbox should be a very niche thing at this point. The Xbox Series X, in my opinion, is for people that can't afford maybe like a mid or higher ranged gaming PC, or for people that just don't have the knowledge to build a PC. Like, that's my opinion. That's all I got on that at this point. But yes, there is Phil Spencer saying positive things about Nintendo that, none of it applies to Microsoft. Never crosses his mind that Nintendo is wonderful. I'm sitting here on this talk show right now because of Nintendo. And he doesn't think that... I don't know what goes on in his mind. I don't know what goes on over at Microsoft to where they have these words, say all these wonderful things, and then think like, maybe we should pick some of those ideas. Never crosses mind. All right, moving on to our next topic. Yeah, thank you, Philly. Next topic. Yoshinori Ono announced he is leaving Capcom. So this happened last week. For those of you that don't know, he's like the main Street Fighter guy. I think he's a producer. He's been on the Street Fighter team for quite a while, at least since 4. And I know it doesn't sound like that old because we're on 5 and then 4. I mean, but you think about it. 4 came out 2008, 12 years ago. So he's been there for a while. And I think he's been there longer than that. So let me see. Legendary Capcom developer Yoshinori Ono has announced this morning that he is leaving Capcom. Okay, wow, I should have read the article first. He's been at the company for almost 30 years. 30 years, and is set to leave the company this summer. Rumors have swirled around regarding Street Fighter franchise for a while now, and while Mr. Ono doesn't give a definitive reason for leaving the company, it's thought that it's related to that. Here's a message he shared. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is quite the message, isn't it? Dang, I really should have thought about putting this up. Let's see. Globally in 2020, COVID, blah, blah, blah. Talks about the Capcom Pro Tour. I mean, let's see. Internal discussions about the format for Capcom Pro Tour 2020. It took a long time for us to decide on the format this year, but we believe... This is really long-winded, and I don't think this gives a real reason to why he's leaving. Heart is filled with depreciation, and of course, been there a long time, 30 years. I'm very sad to leave, this and that. New generation will continue taking care of Street Fighter. I mean, he's just saying all the things you're supposed to say when you're being nice, leaving a company you've been out with for this long. So, yeah. There's nothing juicy in here. Nothing juicy, just, whatever. Really heartfelt. But, yeah. 30 years. So who knows what's going to happen in Street Fighter now? I don't know if this is a detriment or if it's going to be an improvement. Only time will tell. We'll have to wait and see on that one. And finally, the last topic I wanted to go over. Control limits free next-gen upgrades to its new $40 Ultimate Edition. So this has been kind of like the hot topic the past couple of days, right? You know, PS5, Xbox One X, Xbox Series X. Gosh, I hate these names. I hate Microsoft for these names. But right, the next generation of systems is on the way. There's a lot of developers that are stating that, you know, will allow you to upgrade to the next generation for free. You buy the PS4 or the Xbox One version of this, you get that next gen upgrade for free. And I think the main reason for this is that because of the times we're in, you know, how rough it is for everyone in general, but I'd imagine, you know, businesses as well, not being so sure if they're going to rake in the money that they were expecting to rake in. So I think that this move is mostly for that. But anyways, got a little off topic. A lot of companies are offering this so they can kind of like get the money up front so they don't automatically kill off the sales for their games just because it's not on the next gen system yet. So at least this way they can make their sales and then, you know, they'll make up for it later. It's about getting the money now. Everything about companies nowadays is getting the money immediately. So that's what the move is about. But this developer, what is it? Remedy? I guess that's the name. So it's getting a new, Control is getting a new $40 Ultimate Edition that bundles every update and bits of downloadable content that has been released since the game originally launched in 2019. Not that long ago. We think about 2019, it feels like forever ago because of quarantine, but really that's about 8.5, you know, maybe 9 months ago. I don't know the specific launch date of this game. If it launched in November, it was pretty recent. So it'll come out on August 27th, this Ultimate Edition, Steam, and then September 10th for the Epic Game Store and both the PS4 and Xbox One digitally. No physical release? Interesting. Again, I should really read these articles before I just like throw them up. But anyways, interesting it's coming out on Steam first and then like 2 weeks later, Epic, PS4, and Xbox, and only digitally. So anyways, blah, blah, blah. Notably, buying this new console version will serve as a ticket that grants you a free digital upgrade to the PS5 or Xbox Series X version via smart delivery when it becomes available. And that's great and all, but unfortunately, for those of you that bought the game, that bought the DLC, there's no upgrade for you unless you buy this Ultimate Edition. Tell me that ain't messed up. Tell me that ain't messed up. So here's the thing. If you bought the game on release, you already spent more than $40. Games release at $60. So you spend $60 on the game. I don't know how much the DLC is. I don't know. Let's say it was $20. Let's say it was $30. You spent $80, $90, maybe even $100, right? Again, I don't know the price. You definitely spent more than $40. Probably twice, at least twice as much. Spent $80, $90 for this game, and then all of a sudden, you're told no, you don't get that next gen upgrade. And this is after they already came out and said, yeah, you're going to get that next gen upgrade. Yes, thank you, Philly. This is actually anti-consumer. You know, oh, we can talk about what Sony did. I don't have that article up, but we can talk about that. Yeah, this right here. This is a very anti-consumer move. Damn, I don't know what to tell. I feel bad. If you, like I said, if you bought this game at launch, you bought the DLC, you poured a lot of money into it, and you're getting the finger right now. I'm sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. So it's a free next-gen upgrade only if you buy this Ultimate Edition that you had no idea about until August 12th. Oh man, that is so bad. I need something I've been doing now that I've gotten a bit older, don't have as much free time as I did when I was younger. I just hold off on games. I very rarely buy games at launch, and when I see articles like this, I just feel so good about my choice, right? It this scares me. This scares me. Buying it's a scary thing to buy a game at launch and then have something like this happen, or if you buy a game at launch, it might not work right. There might be game breaking bugs. Um, there's a lot of things that can go wrong with a game at launch. I forget the quote. No. I think so. I read it in a comment section somewhere. Someone quoted, what was it? Total Biscuit said, when you buy a game at launch, you're paying the highest price for the worst version of the game. It's true. It's true. So just wait it out if you can. Just wait it out. Wait for the price to drop. Wait for a game of the year, or in this case, an ultimate edition, and you'll be set. If you're like me, you never played or bought Control before, getting a $40 ultimate edition and a free next gen upgrade is amazing. But if you, for some reason, had already been there and supported the game, now you're being punished for it. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Oh my goodness. And then I guess since Philly mentioned it, and I don't know how I forgot about this. I made a video on it if you want to check out my channel. But yes, Sony's anti-consumer move. Let me see here. Let me just pull up an article just to have something on screen. Avengers game SpiderMan Exclusive. Sure. I'm sure there's tons and tons. Blah, blah, blah. Makes us a small Spider-Man Avengers games set in their own universes. I don't know if I... Oh my goodness. What is this art? What is this title? PlayStation Spider-Man Exclusive is worse than you think. Okay, well now I kind of want to read this article before I talk about it. I was just going to have it up on screen for a visual, but damn, let's get into it. So Spider-Man will be exclusive post-launch character for PlayStation alone, and Xbox and PC players are losing more than just a hero. Wow. Someone paid this man more money. Very dramatic writing. Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix sent a shockwave throughout the Marvel's Avenger community when they announced that Spider-Man would be swinging into the upcoming title. The character will be introduced into the game via free post-launch DLC, but he will only be accessible to PlayStation owners. With Spider-Man's honorary addition to the MCU's Avengers cast, many fans have grown accustomed to seeing the web head along Earth's mightiest heroes. As more information comes out on Spider-Man's integration, it's clear that the exclusivity is much worse than fans originally thought. Exclusive content is nothing new to the modern-day gaming community. Oftentimes, items, accessories, and full game titles can be locked behind exclusive console deals or memberships. Let's see. It's not unheard of for main characters or large story elements to be introduced on one system before they get ported to another. However, it seems Sony is planning to make sure that Spider-Man DLC stays on the PlayStation alone. Okay, I see. I see what they're trying to say here. See what the problem is. So, they're upset that, I guess some of them thought this was going to be a timed exclusive DLC. I don't know why you would think that. Why would... No. Sony has the clout to keep Spider-Man on PlayStation, and they're not going to give that up. They're not going to give Microsoft an inch. Yeah. And why would they? They're in direct competition with each other. Unlike Nintendo, which is just doing its own thing, marching to the beat of its own drum. Nintendo Switch, I personally don't think has literally any competition. Like, and you can, of course, compare it to PS4, Xbox One, and then upcoming PS5 and the Series X. But at the end of the day, Nintendo's offering something totally different from Sony and Microsoft. It's not even, they're not even playing the same game as far as I'm concerned, right? But here, Sony and Microsoft, there's, direct competition here. And if you're in direct competition, you're not going to, if you have the opportunity to take the advantage, you're going to take it. And Spider-Man is, I guess, the, I don't know what Sony sees in this, like the golden ticket or whatever. But first of all, let's get some things out of the way. Yeah, you can argue it's anti-consumer, but this is how companies get you to buy their systems, right? Would you be a PlayStation fan? Would you be a PS4 owner if you could play your God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Last of Us, what was another one? Your Uncharted. If you could play all those games on Xbox, if you could play all those games on Switch, would you buy a PS4? Some of you might say yes, and I believe you. But you can also imagine how many people would not have bought a PlayStation 4 had those games not been exclusive. So exclusive content is how the companies get you to buy their systems. Nintendo, you cannot experience Nintendo games anywhere else. And that's how they get you to buy Nintendo systems. Nintendo and Sony understand this aspect of being in the video game space, of making video game hardware and software. Microsoft does not. Microsoft, for some reason, does not understand the concept of having exclusive content to get people to buy your system. This is why it's so hard to pull Microsoft numbers right now, to pull the sales numbers of the Xbox One, because they decided they're not measuring success by how many consoles they sell anymore. They're measuring it by, I guess, subscription numbers and active users and a bunch of other metrics. Like, I don't know. But anyways, Sony is doing the thing. They're doing competition stuff. They're trying to beat the snot out of Microsoft, which I'd say they've succeeded already, seeing as how the PS4 sold over 100 million units, and the Xbox One, I think, barely passed or scratched 50 million. PS4 literally outselling Xbox 2-1. And of course, going by sales numbers, we went over here earlier with the Switch. The Switch has also passed the Xbox One X, even with a 3-year head start on Microsoft's part. So, yeah. I need Microsoft to start understanding how this works. Xbox should have gotten their own deal with another character. They should. They definitely should. I mean, that's how you clap back, right? If you see Sony doing something like this and you're at Microsoft, you're like, okay, hold on. Now, what character can we pull that has, I mean, you're not going to get as much clout as Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a pretty big character. But you can look for another character that's a very big name in comic books and get that exclusive on your system. Yeah, you're right. Microsoft definitely should have tried to clap back with something. And they might. You know, the game's not out yet. And of course it's going to have DLC, so they could still get something. I don't know who, but they could still do it if they wanted to, for sure. And right, now that I said all that, I'm going to have a very honest moment with you guys. I don't think I care about this game in particular. When this game was revealed, when I watched the gameplay and all that, there was nothing about this game that looked good. Don't get me wrong, it didn't look terrible. It just looked okay. The visuals looked okay. The gameplay looked okay. Maybe the story is amazing. I don't know. There was just nothing about the game that sold me. Everything about the game looked mid at best, and I don't understand the hype for it. I don't understand the hype for this game. This looks very bland, looks very generic, but it has a Marvel skin on it. So I guess because it's Marvel, people are gonna eat it up. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like the anime games, right? Jump Force is like the first one that comes to mind. People were hyped at the announcement of Jump Force. And then it came out and people played it and they're like, this game sucks. And I was like, yeah, I could have told you that. The jump games haven't been good since the DS. Feels bad. But the game looked like trash. It played like trash. And people were like, oh, damn, I wasted my money. And I'm getting Jump Force vibes from the Avengers game. It does not look good to me at all. Now, granted, I don't think it's going to be as bad as Jump Force, but I mean, there's nothing about it that looks fun. Nothing about it looks good. I don't understand the hype. Doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sure once this game actually launches, 2 weeks later, no one's going to be excited anymore. No one's going to talk about it. A month, I give it 2 weeks. A month after this releases, for sure, this game's going to be dead. Promise you. Oh, well, maybe I don't want to go that far, but I'm very certain. I'm very certain this game's just going to be like one of those things where 2 weeks to 4 weeks later is done. And I give it about a year before they just like shut it down entirely, because this is supposed to be like a live service game, right? It's supposed to like be ongoing and constantly getting updates and this and that. I don't know, man. I don't see it happening. And I think it's going to have a lot of sales there at the beginning. People are going to be excited. Yeah, thank you, Philly. I don't know. I think it's going to do numbers out the gate just because of the hype. And then outside of that, nothing's going to happen. And here's where I think the problem lies. If this game sells enough, then they're automatically going to make a sequel, even if it sucks. We've seen it with like the Jump Force, because there was a Jump Force on, what was it, PS3, and it was bad, but it sold well because everyone thought it was going to be good. So then they made the Jump Force for, I think there was like PS4 or Xbox One, and then it got ported over to the Switch. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and then it got a sequel, and they made the sequel because the last one sold well, and then they're like, oh, people like this, so they want more of it. And then, of course, the sequel comes out, and it's basically the same thing as the last one, and it sucks, and then this one sucks, and then people hate it. And what got me was when Jump Force was announced to be coming to the Switch, and people were excited. I'm like, why are you excited? We know this game is trash. This game has been out, and it's been garbage. Like, don't be excited just because it's coming to the system you play on. That's how I feel about this. That is how I feel about the Avengers game. Again, I already made my thoughts on the exclusivity. That is Sony trying to beat the snot out of Microsoft more than they already have. That's how it works when you're in direct competition with someone. Microsoft needs to clap back with something, but Microsoft can't even spell the word exclusive at this point. So it's not surprising that nothing's been announced on their end. And then I think it's just going to be a trash game all around. So I don't think any of it's going to be really relevant at the end of the day. But anyways, that's my thoughts. And again, what would I know? I'm just some guy on the internet. But I think that is all I wanted to go over today. Thank you guys for watching. Go ahead, hit the like button if you liked the video, the content, the topics we went over. Check out the description for, following Dark Cloud and me on Twitter, all that good stuff. So I will leave it at that. You guys are the greatest, and trying to get Cloud to do this is like pulling teeth, which is why I'm here by myself doing it right now. I definitely plan on doing this more frequently. With or without Cloud, his schedule is beyond ridiculous. So I kept waiting and waiting for him so we could actually coordinate and do this together. But yeah, the man's just mad busy. So moving forward, we're going to have these. I want to say every 2 weeks. That's my plan for now. I know it's been a long time. It's been a month since the last one. And like I said, that's just because for literally this entire past month, I could not get a hold of Cloud to do this. So if you guys want him on here, go ahead, go to his channel, leave comments, let him know that he needs to come back to FDP, come back to Final Dash Podcast. Take it more seriously. Do it more often. All that good stuff. But still hit the like button if you enjoyed it with just me. I didn't think it was going to drag on this long, but it did. Wow. Anyways, yes, like I said, thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. Take it easy. Take care. Have a good one.